Hi. So I've been getting a lot of requests on my Instagram and both my TikTok to make a tutorial on how to do grayscale. So I'm gonna take so here you have it. Fuck, damn it. I'm gonna take some time out of my very not so busy schedule to be a teacher. So, oh fuck. Grab a paper, grab a pencil, maybe some mead, a screaming boy saying the N-word, and let's get to it. Okay, so for our subject today, we're going to be using one of the illustrations that I drew in the past for an old client. I forgot what anime this is from. It's something on the tip of my tongue, something having to do with cards and faces. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, faces. So for grayscale, fuck. Before I actually get into how I do my grayscale, it's important to understand what grayscale is. Grayscale shading is the process of adding values to your illustration using a range of gray shades from white to black in a monochrome display before adding it to color. It facilitates the illustration process so that you can focus on lighting and shading first and color last rather than doing all of that at once. If you look at this wonderful example from Razan on DeviantArt, they use light and dark gray colored tones to illustrate that there is lighting coming from above, while also using lighter gray tones at both the top and bottom to create a sort of reflective and glossy look. Afterwards, they use various layering methods to color over it and get the color intended. This same method applies to literally any other illustration that you would like to do. Shading. So normally I start out by using the magic tool and selecting everything outside the sketch. If there's anything in the sketch that I forgot to select, I'll just go down to the lasso tool, hit the selection pen, and then just select anything that I missed. Vice versa, if I need to deselect something or erase a selection, then I'll go down and hit the erase selection. After that, I'll make a folder layer, hit the mask button, and then put the sketch and everything in that folder. That way, so when you're doing the shading and coloring, nothing leaves the area that you selected. Really comes in handy for rendering stuff out later. All right, let's get on to the good bits. So I'll make a new layer, fill it with a lighter toned gray color usually. You can use a darker color as well, doesn't really matter. It's up to you. Depends on how heavy you want your shading and or lighting, or how harsh you want your lighting to be. It depends on what you want to do. But I'll usually start up with a lighter toned gray color. I'll make a new layer after that and change the layer modes to multiply, and then I'll add my shading. I have seen some people color over the fill layer. I'm just kind of bitch made, so I don't usually do that. I'm just simply not Himothy, so I'll make a new layer and color over that. Really comes in handy when I'm trying to fix some mistakes. And then I'll add another multiplier layer on top of that, just to increase the darkness of the shading. Honestly, you can add as many layers as you want for your shading. It really doesn't matter. It's honestly up to you. However, just don't go like crazy with it. Don't like add a crazy amount, like I don't know, fucking 7 or something. I don't fucking know. Pause. So I forgot to mention something very important that I use, and that is gradient maps. I use gradient maps as a sort of color correction or filter. Usually I add one and lower the opacity down to like maybe 10 to 20% before making a base layer for the rest of the colors. You can also use you don't also have to use gradient maps as just a like color correction or filter. You can also use it to just straight up color depending on which gradient pack you have. So for the first like 15 seconds of this next clip, please disregard it. I forgot to add it in there. Alright, you can play it. Okay, so now that we have the map laid out for our shading, now it's time to focus on the color. Usually I'll add a base color for the skin with an overlay layer on it. Also, remember when I said that I was kind of bitch made for not like coloring over that base layer? Well, I lied. I'll usually color over this so over this base layer, I'll change it to overlay, and then I'll decrease the opacity just a tad bit, and then I'll just color over said layer for the colors needed, and then I'll just color over said layer. After you do all this and you have all your colors done, it should look something like this. However, there is a bit of a problem. If you look at the original reference, in the show Kakaguri, the uniforms that they normally wear are a lot more saturated than this. So there's an easy way, this is easy fix. You would just have to add a multiply layer and then we recolor it using the same similar colors. After that, it should look a little bit more like this. Okay, so yeah, that was basically about it for the transitioning from grayscale to color. What can I say? You make a few layers, you color on them, and then you make another few layers, color on those things, and then boom, there you go, you got somewhat of a masterpiece. Now the only thing left to do for this illustration is to kind of just fully render it, but that'll kind of just be a little speed art clip for this video. I'll probably make another one later down the road on how I render, but that's for another time. But for now, just enjoy the rest of the vid. This stuff lowers cholesterol?